Welcome to Monday. Let's talk about endurance athletics and the refuel. Hey everyone, welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel, where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we upload videos, and Sunday we host a live stream, affectionately coined Coffee Talk, where we brew a beverage, chat about its origins and history sometimes, or at least the science behind it, and then we often pair it with a ketogenic recipe, and then chat amongst ourselves. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and then hit the little bell icon so you're notified every time we upload or go live. Today, I am just taking a moment. Sorry to shake that a little bit. I'm in my office and I just kicked the bottom of my table. But so this is sort of brought on by a couple different things. First of all, I do endurance athletics. I'm an avid cyclist. But in more than one group recently, I've seen questions from people who are doing things that would be considered an endurance athletics activity, and they've experienced issues such as muscle fatigue or not feeling great or sometimes some nausea, a variety of things that have occurred that are symptoms of going keto recently and haven't quite got the hang of how to adjust what they need to do to properly fuel. Let's start off by talking about what an endurance sport is. Endurance sports, it's a type of exercise that has, and I promise I'll explain this a little bit, repeated isotonic contractions for your large skeletal muscle groups. So, your legs and your arms, things like that. Examples would be like swimming, running, hiking, cross-country skiing in the winter, speed skating, things like that. So, and those are called endurance athletics. And I mentioned the repeated isotonic contractions. They're part of an isotonic movement. That's the kind of movement that makes your muscles resist weight. So those are good things. But over a wide range of motion, a very repetitive range of motion, and it's changing the length of your muscle over and over. It teaches your muscles to continuously contract efficiently during high intensity situations. So it's pretty extreme. It's a lot of effort on your body. Your body needs a lot of help during this, and it needs regular strength training and cardio done in conjunction with these endurance athletics. You shouldn't, and your performance won't be excellent if you don't combine other forms of exercise. Unfortunately, just like everything else in life, you have to do the things that aren't your favorites to boost your favorite activity. So, I was talking about fueling, but I'm kind of just giving you a little bit of background. I promise not to get too crazy and too nerdy into the weeds, but I feel like these are at least the important high-level tidbits that will be helpful to you. So, so I talked about what that kind of movement is, the continuous contraction and the high intensity, which is what endurance athletics requires. What happens to your muscles is that there's a lot of metabolic impact and consequences of doing that repeat over and over and over and over again. And it results in a slower utilization of your glycogen and the blood glucose, and a greater reliance when you're ketogenic on fat oxidation. It takes less lactate production during your activity, depending on the intensity. So all that sounds great for keto, right? with some things, but you'll also notice that in the non-ketogenic world, you see that they do massive carbo loads, and that's because because the utilization of your muscle glycogen and your blood glucose is slower. Once it really depletes, man, you can't get it into you fast enough. And that's how it feels. Like you just cannot. And what happens is a lot of times when that glycogen depletes, if you don't have a proper amount of fat in your diet or things like that to fuel yourself, you're going to hit that drop. In endurance athletics, it's called bonking because when your electrolytes and your blood sugar drops out, and you deplete your glycogen stores with no fuel to replenish, um, you get really sick. You'll notice when somebody tells you that they've bonked, they get extremely fatigued, they get nauseated. Often they will vomit, they're very shaky, they're not going to be able to get up and walk around, all that kind of stuff. It's really, really bad, and you do have to refuel. Now, it sounds bad, but that's an exception. And if you do the right things and you start training appropriately, this won't happen. Speaking of electrolytes, anyways, I said like a bunch of scary stuff there. Please know that that's not something that's supposed to happen. You also can get more muscle soreness, but all of that is really, really easy to eliminate and prevent. So I say easy, but initially it's not because you're still learning. And when you're new or learning things, it's not easy, but after you get the hang of it, it is. So uh, I will also say that the hard work of your muscles like that, it does create a lot of what's called micro tears, but you get that during strength training and cardio as well. Micro tears is like a about a day and a half, almost 2 days after you exercise, you're like super sore and like your muscles just ache. That's because you get micro tears, and that's actually a rebuild. It sounds bad, but it's actually a good thing because it's a rebuild and of your muscles as they grow and change. So that's cool. Uh, so, but when your muscles are damaged by exercise, they leak enzymes into your blood and they increase the creatine and myoglobin. I don't know why I had trouble with that word, but it is what it is. And so that's it's something to remember because it'll impact your mood and it'll impact how your body feels. Uh, some of the enzymes can really boost up a lot during your exercise. So, however, the bonus good thing is when you do things that are endurance activities like hiking or power walking, which by the way really works a lot, uh, or running, things like that. It also does improve the ability of your muscles to use oxygen, which of course helps you perform longer before you start feeling tired. So now, if you're keto, you have to totally revamp how you do your endurance athletics. And it's really hard at first. But you can do it. Absolutely. You can run marathons. You can join the Ironman, not without training, of course. You can do all of those things. But learning how to fuel appropriately is where we hit that challenge because it's not like a carbo load where you gobble it up and immediately you have a big sugar rush, which by the way, you do come down later. They endurance athletes feel awful afterwards and usually have to consume mass quantities. Once you go keto and you adjust to how you need to fuel yourself, you will find that afterwards you will not necessarily need that mass consumption that I call it. Now, I will say if you start getting extreme, which I can do once in a while, and I enjoy it, you do tend to have like a mass consumption. You need more food, but you don't have to be quite as crazy about it. So it kind of reminds me of a story when I was in college, and I went to an event where I got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was very early on, and he was doing tours because he was Mr. Universe at the time, and I was at the World's Gym. It was very exciting for me, and we talked a little bit about diet, and it was a lot of us in the audience, and I said, so what do you do after you work out or after a competition? And he said, oh, after a competition, all bets are off. I go to the back and I demolish like a dozen donuts, and I don't want to stop there. And it didn't really occur to me at the time. I thought it was hilarious, and now I'm like, wow, well, that's really unhealthy. And so, someone who was my hero at the time, I feel like now I've had the benefit of a lot of experience and knowledge, and uh, I'm really glad for people like Lyle McDonald and Keto Savage, who have been talking about reduced carbohydrates and ketogenic eating and all of this stuff for a really long time. And I wish that I had met them way earlier in my life because things might have been very different for me. But it is what it is. So, fueling. How do you even do that? How do you approach it? And what do I do if I have messed up? So, easy peasy, not really, but pretty much. Let's start about doing it the right way. If you are an endurance athlete and you have previously done these activities before you were keto and you were used to carbo loading, where you waited until you were kind of like at that point where you had shaky legs and were pretty ravenous and you just like gobbled down like maybe gel packs and a bunch of candy, you devoured like 3 Snickers bars, and then zoom, you were good to go. Well, you can't do that now. Two things: either you're going to know how to appropriately increase and feed beforehand. You can't go in there being all bloated and stuffed to the gills. You just need proper fuel. I find that I usually eat myself a nice, a good fatty and protein filled breakfast, and then I digest for like an hour or so before I head out. But that was my key there. What is our fuel when you are ketogenic? Fat. I know we talk all about protein in 1-to-1 for weight loss, but endurance athletics is not weight loss. It's serious. You need your fuel. You need to increase your fat. It's not about getting leaned up. You're already lean when you're doing endurance athletics. You are burning through that fat. That is what is going to replenish your glycogen stores. That is what is going to prevent you from bonking. Do not skimp on your fat and think that all you can eat is like some chicken breast. You can't do it. It will not give you enough fuel. So you have to learn where that balance is for yourself. It is an experiment. And I'm not saying don't eat 1-to-1. Absolutely. I eat 1-to-1 a lot of the time. I'm saying start learning how much fat you need so you can properly fuel yourself. And I know that's not really the answer to like, well, what do I eat when I'm going hiking for 30 miles? Or I'm going to do a bike trail for 3 days or things like that. But, and I'm also not saying eat yourself a big old stick of butter and don't have any meat. No, let's not be crazy. It's a variety of things. Now, but what I am saying is you do need to remember that fat and protein take longer to work through. So don't wait. Whatever it was when you used to get to that point where you knew you needed fuel right now. And give me them gel packs. I remember seeing people and other cyclists, and they're like slapping their legs because they're getting sore. And they're like, I need gel packs, which I can't say sounds like a great attitude. And I wasn't fond of it then, even when I used that kind of fuel, but I like it even less now. It sounds problematic to me to have that kind of need. And maybe for some people it's not, but it just, I don't know. It never appealed to me to have that much desperation. I don't like to feel desperate for things. And that's a personal mental feeling there, so that's fine. Now, but what kind of things do I take? Well, Epic Meat Bars. The venison, it is leaner, but it's not completely lean because it's 10 grams of fat. I just remember that it's really hard on my digestion, and I definitely need to plan when I'm going to eat this. I usually break my snacks up. And I will say another thing about this is that they've got some overhang. Usually, I actually prefer the Mission Meat Graze bars. They're a little more efficiently packaged. And so they will fit, like if you are a runner and you have like these little side pockets, it'll squeeze in there. You look a little funny because it'll get lumpy, but they'll fit in your pockets and you can take one of these along. But it's good, but it's going to fuel you further down in your range. And if you're a carnivore, though, it's kind of going to be one of the things that will be better for you. These meat bars. Uh, it's a better option. Carnivore is actually a little bit harder than keto because you have a little bit less choice there. It's hard to take cheese on your run, but it's not impossible. But you'll have to take it out of the package. But these little Parm Crisps, this is a small package, because you can see you can fold it right over. And I'll show you, you can cram it right into your pocket. These are Lycra, so it's just like you would wear. You'd have your little booty running Lycra shorts, so you'd probably have a pocket. But it's definitely not as aerodynamic as a runner would like. Lucky me, I'm a cyclist, so I have a jersey where I can cram, my pockets like this thick and 3 across, and it's great. So I can put whatever I want in there. If I need to take one of my protein buns with a sandwich, I can do that. Depends on the sandwich though, because it gets warm in there, but you know what I'm saying. But why these are great is because it is also very salty. And we'll talk about the importance of the salt in just a minute. Now, if you're carnivore, this next suggestion is not going to work for you. If you are keto but you can't eat nuts, this next suggestion is not going to work for you. However, if you are okay with nuts once in a while, and yes, you can get away with a little bit extra carbs, not a ton. I'm not saying go all hog wild, but I'm saying if you are a strict 20 total carber and then you take up endurance athletics and now you're cycling like 50, 60 miles, I'm telling you, you can do 40 or 50 carbs and you're not even going to touch bumping yourself out of ketosis. I don't mean all at once and then eat more when you get home. I mean during the course of your singular day, not on a regular basis. On your regular basis, you'll adhere strictly to your 20 total carbs, etc. But that particular day, you're going to be okay. You are going to burn everything. So, but super fat nut butters and F-bomb nut butters. Salted chocolate macadamia. I love this flavor. There's like 3 or 4 flavors of these. They come in these simple packs. And then the super fat, by the way, this is the old design. And as much as I love this design, I'm super bummed they don't sell these anymore. So when I finish these, they're gone. They've gone to a pack with a rip off the top. For cycling and running, these were awesome because you could twist the cap off and, well, you need it, and then you twist the cap off and the cap goes right in your pocket. It's way less fiddly than ripping the tops off. So it also means that when you're riding a bike, if you are one of those no stop people, you could do these because you can use your mouth and you can still keep one hand if you need to, because while I know a lot of cyclists who simply just take a moment and they ride hands-free and get their stuff open, this is still easier. The tearing and stuff makes you lose balance. This you can do and take your hands off the handlebar and keep going. But if you're not like super crazy, just stop and enjoy yourself for 5 seconds to suck this down. The reason these are awesome, and let me tell you right now, what did I say? Fat is fuel. So this little packet, which will take you no time at all to devour, is total fat is 22 grams. There is 4 total carbs, so very low, and 2 grams of protein. F-bomb. It's a fat bomb. So that's why it is great for you. And the ingredients are clean. It's dry roasted macadamia nuts. There's organic dark chocolate and sea salt. The super fats, they add other things to it, but also really good stuff. This little packet is an awesome fat bomb. It's 300 calories. The total fat is 31 grams. So you're really diving in there. And then the protein is 3 grams and the carbs is, actually I can't read it. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's 3 net carbs, and I believe it's like 7 total. I have to dig it up, but it's really teeny tiny. So, but this actually has, this flavor is macadamia nut plus probiotics, so it's nice on your digestion, so you knead it up and you suck it down, and you've really got a huge fat bomb on it, which is your fuel, and that is why I recommend these little pouches. They also fit in really easy in the pocket. These super awesomely fit in your pockets, or you can tuck it under your sleeve. Sorry about my dog, guys. Okay, but you can tuck it up under a sleeve real easy, all kinds of stuff. It's very, very, very portable. So, and that is the key there, the portability. So, I thought that I had brought my electrolytes here to share with you as well, but evidently I did not. I was going to show you to also pack the couple little individual servings for your hydration, and the other part, the other half of all of this, as your glycogen depletes and as your muscles start getting all that extra work, the other key is sodium. Sodium is your best friend during endurance athletics. It is actually more important than your fat. You could actually not have to refuel at all and endurance athletic in a fasted state if you are keeping up your sodium. But with the caveat, you also have to keep up your hydration. So, yep. That's your key there. Your electrolytes are so super important. And that's it. And, oh, your timing. Your timing matters. So if you were going to, I am sorry, I don't know why he's crying, guys. My baby. Dyson, come here. He's not coming here. He's crying at the door because he's done with work for the day. I know how he feels. I was done too, but this was fun for me. So you should, instead of when waiting for you going, about 20 to 30 minutes before you would normally stop to fuel, that is when you would go and you would ingest your protein and fat, because you'll need that to be able to digest and break down and refuel. So, and you will need your extra sodium. Don't be crazy about it. Be more than usual, because you do need to replenish your electrolytes and have extra sodium more than usual, but you also do need to make sure that you are not taking in so much that you're actually working against yourself for hydration. So I find that you'll eventually work through and figure it out with experimentation. If I'm going out and I am going to be hardcore going at it, I'll take like 3 packets of a combination of Relight and Element, which is the 1 gram of salt each. So that's like 3,000 grams plus all of the sodium that I'm getting in my refuels, or if I pack a little meal in my pocket, things like that. So I am really pounding that sodium. However, if you find that when you're sweating, you're starting to get like salt crystals and you are feeling parched, have yourself just some plain water. Don't worry about it. And then go back to your electrolytes. You just, it just has to matter. It's a matter of finding your body and listening to it. And it takes time and effort to learn about it and to get into it. And if you are not fat adapted, all of this is going to be stupid hard because the signals in your body are not there to tell you really what to do, and you're going to have to be doing a lot of guesswork. And I know here's where I'm going to say, I know I gave you this vomit of information, and it's a lot to take in, and even with how long this video is, and it probably doesn't really answer any questions. So if you do have questions, I really want you to put them down in the comments section so that we can dive into them as we go. And if you're not an endurance athlete and you're just working out and you want to ask more questions, great. If you think this video sucked and you don't want to hear about exercise no more, put that in the comments. I'm open to these kind of criticisms. It's all right. Sometimes I'll get a little defensive, but I promise I still love you guys like crazy, so don't worry about it. But also, I just want to say again, I really love these super fat nut butters. The flavors are interesting, not bad, but I wouldn't go out and say like they're delicious. But I will say that I often feel good after I eat them. So, and I don't mean like, sugar rush feel good. I mean, like they digest well. So I'm just going to say, I know Perfect Keto bought the super fats and that's where I buy them from now. So great job on these. Please bring these little caps back. We like them a lot in athletics. Way better than the Tear single serve pouches. Please. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll let you go now. You have a great day. I will talk to you again on Wednesday. See you soon. Bye-bye.